Are you dealing with child anxiety at home? Join the club. Well, today I want to share with you a quick little tool that I love, and I teach all the kids in my therapy practice. I teach my own kids as well. Stay tuned. That's what's up next. Kids with anxious minds have racing minds, and not in the fun way either. They're not in track. Their mind is constantly going, and it never shuts up. I know this because I'm an anxious person. And I was a kid once, and my mind was racing all the time. I had a hard time sleeping. I had a hard time fighting off my thoughts. And I'm sure that that's probably what's going on with your anxious kids as well. I know what's going on with mine. So there is a little tool in my toolbox that I always whip out, and I think it's a really important tool. And it's gonna seem super simple, like everything else I teach. So bear with me, I'm not about to rock your world, but it is really effective, so it's worth talking about. Visual imagery is really good for anxious kids, especially if your child is pretty creative and they have a good fantasy world. And even if they're not, it's definitely worth a try because even adults do this and it's effective for them. So you want to teach your child how to create what I call a world. Very creative with the names, right? So you want to have your child pick something that they're interested in, something simple. I'll give you some examples. So my world, because I actually do have one and I've had one for a really long time, it's like a weird ocean scenery type thing, but not in the cheesy sort of way because my rainbow fish like glow in the dark and they speak. Okay, we won't go into my world. But you want to find something that speaks to your child, not like my speaking fish. And that could be Candyland if you want to create something where everything in the world is edible. I particularly like that world. I've had kids in my practice pick like Lego World, Horse World, Pet Shop World, Star Wars World, Dragon World, blah blah world, whatever, it doesn't matter. If it's something they're into, start with that. I find that the best time to start doing this is at bedtime because that's really when anxious kids need to go to their world the most. And so that's kind of how you're going to frame it once you create this world. You're going to say, go to your world. I know that sounds really weird, but I did it with my kids and they really responded well. I do this in my practice all the time and kids respond really well. It's not going to be the silver bullet answer on fixing sleep. I did talk about how to fix sleep problems in one of my last videos. And if you missed that episode, where were you? You should be subscribing. So I will leave a link in the notes below my video and you can go ahead and check that if you missed it. But this is just another thing that's really, really helpful and effective. So when your child is laying there and they're getting ready for sleep, you can tell them, let's start creating a world that you can go to every night before you go to bed to quiet your mind and relax your body. And have them pick out what they're interested in. And then you want to start guiding them first. And so you're going to have to do a little bit of work on the front end. I'm sorry, it's not always the way as a parent. And then eventually you're going to be able to just put them to bed in a perfect world and say, go to your world. Now, to be honest, my anxious kids, they come out of the room over and over again. If you don't know what I'm talking about, who are you? And you obviously don't have anxious kids. But I will verbally tell them to go back into their room and then I'll say, go to your world. Or when my kids are like, I can't sleep. Or if one of my children is like, I'm going to get a shot in 3 years and I'm so nervous. Yeah, that's actually a true story. I'll say, go to your world. What about your world? So I do have to do it ad nauseum, but at least it's something I can say to them other than be quiet and go to bed or you're going to get in trouble, because that doesn't work. So back to creating this nice, calm world. You want to start out, basically, if you think about it this way, you're trying to hit all the senses. So you want to talk about what it sounds like, what it smells like, what it tastes like. That's weird, but maybe they're going to eat in their world, especially if it's Candyland. What it feels like, where are they going to sit, where are they going to go. Now, this is an important part. It's going to be earth-shattering. I'm just kidding. But you don't want any massive storyline in this world. You don't want other characters unless they're animals that are comforting. You don't want anything scary. I've had kids who have high anxiety. They create this beautiful world and they're like, but then there are the sharks and they are scary. Or then there are the dragons, the fire-breathing ones that aren't friendly. Yeah, Pay attention to that because you don't want anything scary or adversarial in your child's world. That defeats the purpose. So you want to go through it with them. So I'll give you an example. Let's pretend I was talking to a child and we're going to create a Candyland world. My favorite, I already told you. I love Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's my favorite movie ever, except the creepy one with Johnny Depp. Not that one, the original one. Anyway, this isn't about me. This is about you and making a world. So say your child is laying there, and you can do this at any age. I've done it with older kids, and like I said, I have an ocean world. So it's not a kiddie thing or a childish thing. And you can do it with really, really little kids too. That's what I love about it. So let's say you have your daughters laying there and she's picked Candyland. So you might say, tell me what you see. And then she might say, well, she may not be very creative. There's lollipops around. And then you might help her. Oh, there are trees. What are the trees made out of? And then sometimes it just depends on your child's creativity. With some kids that I've done this in my practice, I will actually help create it with them. And then I'll have them tell me back. And then I'll kind of basically I'm planting the seeds and I'm launching their world, and then they can do whatever they want with it. And so you might say, this is what I do with my daughter who's 5. I'll say, oh, those look like delicious trees. Wait a minute, that's not bark. That's brownie. That's a brownie tree. And then just the other day I said to her, look at the leaves. Those are spearmint gum leaves. And then she piped in and she goes, I hate spearmint gum. That's not spearmint gum. Those are green gummies, Mom. And she started to add to it. And then you want to say, what does it smell like? Oh, I think I smell gingerbread. It smells like they're cooking gingerbread cookies down the road. Wait a minute. No, they're not. The houses are made of gingerbread. And what is that? And this is when you want to move into activities they can do in their world that are somewhat boring so that they're not actually stimulating their brain. We want them to be quiet. So I might say something like, I think I see a rainbow in your world. It's like a flavored rainbow. If you stick your tongue out, it tastes like jelly. That's weird. Wait a minute, you can go on your rainbow. So then I'll have my daughter be able to go on her rainbow, and she'll go up to the clouds, which are cotton candy, but she can sit on them. And so I'm giving her activities, simple activities that she can do in her world. I've had older kids that I've worked with have dragon worlds where they can jump off cliffs and the dragon will scoop them up and they can go fly. You just don't want storylines or real people in their world. You don't want them to start creating characters and really getting into it, because that is going to be very stimulating and that defeats the purpose. So I just want to make a very quick, short video about this. Obviously, I think this is not rocket science and you can figure out how to teach your child about their world. A couple of quick points before I go though. 1, you want to start their world every night before they go to bed for quite a while. That way, you're jump starting it and they're thinking about their world, because kids say they think about their world, but they don't. 2nd, you want to have them tell you about their world out loud for a while. That way, 1, you can make sure that they are going back to the exact same place with the exact same story and with the exact same stuff in their environment. You don't want to keep changing it. I once had a girl in my therapy practice, and every time I saw her, she had a brand new world. And then we'd work on it, and then she'd come back and she'd have a brand new world. That's not effective, because the more your child goes to the exact same world every night, all the time, the more real it'll become, and the easier it will be to imagine it. I can shut my eyes. I hate getting my blood drawn. True story. And so whenever I get my blood drawn, I don't look, because that makes me feel really queasy. I look the other way, and spoiler alert, it's about the world. I think about my ocean world, and it really helps. And it helps because it's something I think about when I go to bed at night, and so it's easy to conjure up in my mind. That's what you want for your child. So I hope this quick tip helps. And next week, if you happen to actually watch me in real time, I am going to be taking a break for the next week because it's my birthday week and I have some birthday plans and I can't fit everything that I want to do and take a day off for my birthday. So sorry, but I'll be back the following Thursday. I hope you're enjoying my videos. If you are, show your appreciation with a little like. It's just like a button. You can just press it. And don't miss my next video, so hit subscribe. I hope you're having a great week, and I hope you find the sparkle in everything you do. Until next time, take care.